Okay, so let's continue with the B view. I can customize this definition that I just provided to fit organizations that are not profit-making, for example. So this definition can be adapted. To see how that can be done, let's go back to the definition. You look at this portion in the parentheses. I say, or other relevant primary second stakeholder group. The word customer certainly applies to organizations that are profit-making, what we typically call companies, profit-making companies. But take a law firm, for example, that also may be profit-making, but law firms don't exactly use the word customers. Their primary stakeholder group are their clients. So we can replace the word customers with clients, and the definition would fit them very well. Take a not-for-profit organization like the Red Cross. We can replace the needed, for example, the needed group as in place of the customers, because the primary stakeholder group that Red Cross exists to serve, without whom Red Cross wouldn't even exist, is the group that needs its services most. For a healthcare provider, the word customers can be replaced with patients. So now this customization would make more sense to you. So what we can do is we can use the word clients and patients instead of customers for law firms and healthcare providers, respectively. For an organization like the Red Cross, the primary stakeholder group depends on which entity is being served. This would sometimes occur for certain organizations. In their case, perhaps it makes sense to think of two such groups: the donors and the affected. So the donors are the ones who donate money to Red Cross, and the affected are the people whom Red Cross serves. Now, how they would define their primary stakeholder group depends on them. I think both of these groups can be thought of as primary stakeholder groups, and hence the definition of marketing, the concepts of marketing, as I have laid out, as applied to Red Cross, can apply to both of these groups. A similar situation occurs for educational institutions. On the one hand, they have their students, who are a group of primary stakeholders, and on the other hand, they have their potential employers for whom they prepare their students to be the primary stakeholders. To both of these groups, the definition of marketing that I provided can be customized or applied to or adapted to. Another thing that we can do in the definition is we can drop the word profitable to adapt the definition to not-for-profit organizations. That said, I would like to point out that technically, though, even not-for-profit organizations are looking for profits, although they may not call it profit, and that profit is certainly not distributed among investors, but they are also looking to make more money than they spend on their costs. So the concept of profit still applies to not-for-profit organizations, but if we want to customize this definition by dropping this word profitable for them, it's fine. So what it would read for a not-for-profit organization is that lead to effective, competitive, and sustainable organizational performance. So in a nutshell, what I mean to achieve in this slide is to impress upon you that the definition I provided of the B view can be adapted or customized to fit a bunch of organizations. I'll talk a little bit more about this B view that I've presented. According to the B view that I've presented, what are some of the fundamental goals of marketing? Defining and identifying target customers, understanding current and potential customers. Potential customers are those that are not your customers right now but may be your customers in the future. Understanding factors that affect or would affect current and potential customers. What are the things that are going on in the environment outside that can affect your customers and potential customers? Predicting the effects of those factors. So how are these factors going to affect consumption trends, for example? How are these factors going to affect how customers would behave in the future? predicting the effects of those factors and recommending decisions and actions to deal with those effects. This is a huge, broad set of tools or skills or activities that marketing should centrally perform. Certainly understanding what would create value for current and potential customers. Many a time companies make decisions based on just purely financial motive, but that's not what marketing is about. Eventually the financial goals would have to be met, but primarily understanding how to create value for customers, not just the current ones but the ones of the future, is also very much a part of marketing. And finally, last but not the least, how do we use customer-based inputs, research, understanding, knowledge, etc., data? How do we utilize customer-based inputs to affect organizational decisions, actions, and processes? Again, these are all fundamental goals of marketing. There can be many more that I can go on and on about, but it gives you an idea about how far we have come from that narrow a view of marketing, that popular view of marketing,